In this video, I'll show you how to install an aftermarket upper control arm on a 1990 Nissan Pathfinder. Tools you will need for this project: impact gun, a ratchet with an extension, a 13mm on the end, 7/8 impact, and 11/16 impact, and optional flathead screwdriver. The first step, what we want to do is remove this shock absorber here. Now it mounts with a 14mm right here, and then the last bolt is right there. Oh yeah, and you will need a 14mm ratchet. So if your shock doesn't want to come off and it just keeps twisting like this one, just grab a hold of it until it breaks loose. Then keep these parts. The next, what we want to go after is that bolt right there. For that, we will need the impact. It's just quicker. Once you get this, the impact set up, you will also need an optional 3/4 wrench. If the nut is not welded on still, sometimes they do break loose, or yours just isn't welded on. Just throw on that in the back, then get at it with the impact. Now with the next step, once you have the bolts removed, we need to remove the shock itself. Now, it's completely up to you how you want to remove it. But best way I found is to just grab it and compress it. And pop it out of its casing. What you want to do next, if you want, is to put an optional jack underneath to help support a bit. But from there, you can use the 13mm and disconnect the 4 bolts holding on the ball joint, the upper one. And after that, just those 2 mounting ones there. Now once you have those 4 bolts removed from the upper ball joint, just these 2 mounting ones here. And for there you want to use the 7/8 impact. That was easy. Now you want to make sure that you keep track of how many washers are behind there. And you want to put everything back that it was there. So I have 2 on that side, 2 on that side, and your upper control arm is off. Now, with this one, I'm not really sure what the brand is on it. I got it off an old 720 Nissan pickup truck. But they seem to fit perfect. I already got the other side on, so now let's just put on this one. So now what you want to do is you want to do reverse order. Put two behind each. Put the bolts back on. Now another thing, you want to go ahead and check to make sure that the bolts are still in good shape, but they aren't all the way rusted through. They seem to be in pretty good shape still, so we'll just reuse those. Now also, this had greasable Zerks on it, so I already went ahead and greased both of these ends here. Now what you can do is you can get everything set up. Once you get everything set up, I found it easier to just go ahead and put the two in and just start threading them in by hand. And then we'll go from there. So, as like, go ahead and put the bolts in, put the two washers back behind it, or whatever, how many you had there. I would start hand threading them, that's a bit better. Now you may need to lower this just slightly out of the way, so you can get this in the right position. Okay, so once you have that all lined up to where these are threaded in, zoom out here, to where those are threaded in, and that is starting to line, you can go ahead and zip these back down with the impact. So let's go ahead and do that. Now one zip down, you can go ahead and torque them as well. But the next step after that is you want to go ahead and get this lined up, get those 4 bolts back in. Once you have those 4 bolts started, I usually like to hand thread them in. Just go ahead and finish getting those all in. Now the next step is to install the shocks once you have all those bolts mounted down. But one thing you can do, if you don't know if you need new shocks at the time or not, there's a way you can test. And how you go about doing that is just by simply getting it and giving it a quick push. Now if you see that it doesn't rebound fairly quickly, like this one, these are fairly new still, so. But if your shocks, if you push them in and they just stay right where they're at, it's pretty much time for new shocks. But a way you can get these back in easy is to just fully compress it by pushing down all of it and sticking it back in through there. So let's go ahead and do that. And as you can see, it'll just go back in itself. And from there, go ahead and reinsert the bolt. Once you get it aligned, just a smidge off. Go ahead and push the bolt through, get the nut back on. Then from there, go ahead and put the rest of the assembly back together up top. Then all you need to do is finish bolting that down. Finish bolting that down. Now if you have any questions or comments, just go ahead and ask. I'll try to answer them as best as I can. Thanks for watching and subscribe. Oh yeah, and a lot more mudding videos that come here. That's just part of my lift. I'm still getting the rest of the 3-inch in. So, stay tuned.